good evening, or good afternoon, whatever it may be. My name is Amanda Moore, and I'm the CEO of the Angelman Syndrome Foundation. I'm also mom to Jackson, who is 7, who has Angelman syndrome. I'm very honored to be here today on this very historic event of one of the first rare disease conferences in this area. We are so thankful and so proud to be partnering with families in the UAE to bring many resources, educations, clinical care, and hopefully clinical trials to their area. Today, I'm going to be talking about a little around the Angelman Syndrome Foundation, around the current clinical trials in the pipeline, and a little bit about our Ladder Learning Network. So to start off, I want to talk a little bit about the overview of the Angelman Syndrome Foundation, just so you have a kind of a scope of what we do as a foundation. The foundation's been around for over 30 years, and our goal is to support families through their journey of day one diagnosis to hopefully the ending of being a curative treatment. We do this in 3 different ways. 1, through family support. Anything that a family may need day to day on their journey, we work to provide with either conferences, family fun, counseling support, educational webinars, and more. We also support them through the Ladder Learning Network, or our Angelman Syndrome clinics. We have 28 clinics around the United States and 8 globally, and expanding each day. I'll talk a little bit more about this network in future slides. We also fund research. We've been funding research for the past 30 years, and our funding for research is really a pilot funding type of research program. We really look to find novel ideas that we can give funding to pilot, and then hopefully that funding can turn into more funding through other outlets to hopefully eventually finding out more about Angelman syndrome, understanding the syndrome better, but also getting to the hopefully possible treatments in the future. One of the things that's really exciting for our community right now is the landscape, the Angelman syndrome therapeutic pipeline. Right now, we have a few active trials, which I'll talk about here in a minute, but this is our current pipeline. And I have to go ahead and put a disclaimer, but that by the time you view this presentation, this may have changed, altered, things may have been added. We have multiple industry that come into this space. Right now, it seems like on a weekly basis, as Angelman syndrome is a very active rare disease right now in the pharmaceutical world. But as you can see, we have different type of methods of delivering. Those are the different treatments around symptomatic to improve the symptoms of the treatment, and then stuff around activating the paternal gene, either through an ASO or through an AAV process, or the gene therapies that are happening. As you can see, we have quite a few of them who have moved into phase 1/2s, and a good amount of them that have filed their IND or in preclinical. So we envision the next few years a very active space for the Angelman community, with hopefully something getting passed through FDA as a possible treatment. Currently, we have 3 active ASO trials, which is the antisense oligonucleotides, that are in actual trials happening, phase 1/2. These are happening across the world, and through these 3 pharmaceutical companies that you can see right here. Right now, most of them are are working specifically on deletion and mutation genotypes, which you probably will learn about here in the genetics talk with Dr. Elizabeth Gelazzo, but hopefully adding the other genotypes as we start learning more. But currently they're in phase 1/2 with the hope of moving into phase 3s in 2023, 2024. Some other methods that are currently in clinical trial right now is an oral symptomatic treatment from Neuron Pharmaceuticals. And this study really is working to investigate the oral medication in NZ2591. This aims to improve impaired connections and signaling between the brain cells and are involved in Angelman syndrome. And this study medication is experimental and is currently in phase 1/2 as well, with hoping to move into phase 3. This is actually in Australia right now, with the hopes to moving to different places in the future. Now I want to talk a little bit about our Ladder Learning Network. And we're really working very hard with possible clinical care specialists in the UAE to work to establish the first Angelman clinic in your area that would be part of the Ladder Learning Network. The Ladder Learning Network is a group of clinics, and a group of clinicians that work together to serve 4 different purposes. One, it's to connect the Angelman syndrome and the Duke 15q individuals to comprehensive care from highly engaged and specialized medical experts. A lot of our families experience this idea of not when they go to a local neurologist or a local pediatrician, Angelman syndrome is not known and how to treat it is not known. So this first aim of the Ladder Learning Network is to really connect people to centers of excellence in clinical care. Next, it's an avenue for communication amongst experts in the field. So every month, we have a meeting with all of our clinicians that are part of the Ladder Learning Network, and it's really this idea of a learning network. We take a topic each month, we talk about it, we talk about challenging cases, and the clinicians work together to really learn from each other and grow that network and grow the network of clinicians in this space. It also is to provide, these clinics are to provide as support clinical trials and have established sites across the world. We know that with all of the trials that are currently happening and that will come, it's very, very important that we're able to expand our clinical network and expand the sites and have them clinically trial ready. And last, it operates to serve the Ladder database. The Ladder database is a global network of patient-powered data to enhance the understanding of these different symptoms. And so what it does is when someone goes to a clinic, they consent to be a part of the database, and their information gets entered into the database. And then the goal is to expedite that data, and individuals can apply to receive that data to further their research. You can learn more about that on our website, and I could talk about it all day. And I think Dr. Ann Wheeler will talk a little bit about it on her talk. Currently, you can see here is where all our Ladder Learning Network sites are. They're growing every single day. And we really hope that someone may be listening to this right now and is interested in possibly opening up a clinic, is interested in hosting clinical trials. And if you are, I would encourage you to reach out and chat with me. I've included my contact information here, and I'd be more than happy, once this is all over, I'll be on the Q&A and be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this transformational gathering, and we really hope you enjoy your time.